Hello everybody, this is Sherry at djsundry.blogspot.com, and today I have a second ATC. If you saw a recent post, I did an ATC for a swap over at crafthappens.net, and today I'm doing my second one. The theme for this swap is games. You weren't supposed to use sports or anything like that. You were supposed to just think of games that you play sitting around the floor, around a game board, or around a table, around a game board. I'm kind of stretching on this one, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. This is a very different, this is more of a pen and paper type game, and so I will explain it and the reason I chose this game and everything in just a minute. But first, let me tell you what I did. The first thing is I have these ATC pre-cut game boards. This is the back side of one, and I'll show you the back sides of the ones that I did, or at least some of the others. And I picked these up from bmuse.com. Now the back of our ATC was supposed to be finished, and so the finishing on mine is just the mat boards, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. But these came 3 to a pack. Then I also used my Tim Holtz Distressed Antique Linen Lace to do some distressing. I had this metallic craft paint in my stash. It's by Anita's all-purpose metallic craft paint, and this is in silver, and I used some of that. I used frosted lace stickles from Ranger. I used my Fisker's punch here. It's called Notebook, and it just simply looks like the rough edges of a notebook. I used lilac twine from the Twinery. And I used from Cloud9 Designs, I used this sticker patch. It was, they're epoxy stickers. There were 10 of them in the pack, and I used half of them. And this is from the Friends Forever pack. And this is just something that I got. I think I even got it on clearance at Joann's quite a while back. And this is perfect for it. So I don't know about you, but if you're a girl who grew up in the 80s like I did, one of the things we would do as teenagers is play this crazy silly game called MASH. A couple years ago I was in a Hallmark store, and I actually saw they actually made some kind of a game pad called for MASH, and it kind of made me laugh because we used to just do it on ourselves. Now I went to a small school, and we would have to travel to play volleyball, and sometimes our games would be, well, I would say a minimum of 3 to 4 hours away, and sometimes longer. So we spent long hours in the car, this group of girls. Our sponsors must have been extremely long-suffering. And we did all sorts of things. Sometimes we'd get out the Mad Libs and play Mad Libs. Sometimes we would sing, we sang by the hour. We sang silly songs. We sang Christian songs. We blended. We harmonized. We just had so much fun. And so when I was thinking about doing a game, I thought of MASH. Now, for me, it's not so much about the MASH, but let me show you my game board. I used my Imagine More Cards cartridge, and on that cartridge they have in the patterns they have 12 by 12 paper that is actually notebook paper. And so what I did, so that it would fit on my ATC card, I took a square from the stock shapes off of the Imagine, and I filled each 4x4 square with this notebook pattern. And so then what I did, and I guess I must have already put my stickers away, but I have these stickers from Adorn It, and on the top I used different stickers, and I said MASH. Now I didn't really like the way they didn't stand out enough for me, so what I did is I drew some stitch marks around the word MASH, and I don't know how well the camera's picking it up. Let's see if I can bring it a little closer. Kind of goes out of focus if I do that. But and I don't know if you knew the silly game called MASH. M stood for mansions, A for apartment, S for shack, and H for house. And then you would pick 4 different numbers, and then, yes, silly enough, we would pick 4 different guys' names that we knew or had crushes on, and then 4 different types of vehicles. And then you would choose another number, just out of the blue, maybe a 7 or whatever, and then you would go through, and every 7th one would get crossed out until you only had 1 number left, 1 name, 1 car, and 1 type of abode. And then you would say, okay, you're going to live in a mansion with 2 children. Daniel's going to be your husband, and you're going to drive a convertible Yugo. The reason I put convertible Yugo, I don't even know where that came from. That was something we did. I don't even think it was a real car, but it was just something we did. And it was just silliness that we would play and do. Now, for me, what this brought back memories of is all those good times. Not so much of the game. I mean, the game was silly and it was fun, but you know, we formed very special bonds of friendship over the years. Not quite a year ago, I walked into a meeting, and or I was at a meeting that I go to every year, and in walked one of these friends from high school, that I hadn't seen in probably 15 years. And it was just such a unique, special bond that we had, and we just sat down and we just talked and talked, and we met for lunch and we just talked. And so when I chose these stickers, when I was going through my stash looking for what other things I was going to put on here to bling it up, I found these stickers, and you can see the paper coming through it. I don't know how well the camera picks it up, but this one says Forever Friends. This one says Plant seeds of friendship, reap a bouquet of happiness. This one says a friend may well be reckoned the masterpiece of nature. It should say the masterpiece of God, because I truly feel like the Lord blessed me with wonderful friends, both from my past and in my present. This says the only way to have a friend is to be one. And the last one says a good friend remembers what we were and sees what we can be. So I made these little ATC cards. Now, for the swap, I only needed 4 of them, and one of them's one I'm keeping. And it's just a way to remember my special friends. Friends that no matter how far apart we are or how long it's been since we've seen each other, we always have time for each other when we run in each other's path. So that is the whole purpose, not so much the game, but the whole purpose behind the friendship of this. Now, if you look at the back side, this is one of the game board pieces. And then I put my information about my blog and my YouTube name and my name here. It was very difficult to write on these on those pieces because they were slick. So for some of them, I took my Tim Holtz sanding tool and sanded it so that I could write. My let me grab this little micron pen, which I like to write with, has a fine tip point, but it doesn't stick to the slick paper. You can just write it right off. I had a paint pen and it just globs. So finally I just wrote it with a plain old Bic pen. This is another one. This is a Candyland game. So I just put my information on the back. This one is some game I have no idea. I was able to use a white gel pen on some of these. That's the one I'm going to keep because I was never able to put all my information on the back. And then this one I just put it in different places. So there's my next ATC for the swap. Oh, and I did forget to tell you, I used the stickles around the edges almost as a frame around the edges of each epoxy sticker. And that's why I'm being so ginger with them, because they are quite wet still. So anyway, thanks for stopping by today. I hope you had fun in this. Thanks for bearing with me as I walk down memory lane. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon.